every day there's a new video right here. You watch this video every day and you'll be a flat earther within 2 weeks and lose the respect of your friends and family. The other thing is...
You don't make it sound very appealing, Dave.
Well, you know what? It's some people don't really like their families, so it's kind of, it's like, all right, yeah, screw them.
If you're not a fan, you're a fan of your family. Yeah,
Right.
come to download the app, start watching the videos, and you'll be sorted.
And then you won't have to talk to your family anymore.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of Finnterviews. I'm your host, Connor Finn, and this is a show where I chat to the most Finteresting people I know. This week, I sat down for an intriguing, to say the least, chat with David Weiss from the Flat Earth podcast, also known as Flat Earth Dave. Dave is a businessman, podcaster, and flat earther who has committed his life to spreading the theory that the earth is flat alongside a host of other wild conspiracy theories. We spoke about Dave's journey into the flat earth movement, leaving business, family, and friends behind to pursue his calling and act as an advocate for flat earthers, COVID deniers, anti-vaxers, moon landing deniers, 9/11 conspiracy theorists, and many more, often alt-right beliefs. Dave was honestly such a polite, interesting guest to have on the show, but this does take a bit more of a serious turn this week, where I have to offer a disclaimer to the listeners that I do not wish to demonize or glamourize the opinions or beliefs of Dave and other associated conspiracy theorists, nor spread any harmful misinformation that could really negatively impact yourself or others. This episode, I wanted to take it down a bit more of a serious route instead of just joking along and agreeing to anything that the guest said. I really wanted to use this opportunity to better understand the mindset and motivation behind the people like Dave who pursue these beliefs and what impact it has had in their lives. So please go into this with an open mind, but if you are in a vulnerable state, this mightn't be the best episode for you, but by all means, enjoy some of the other light-hearted episodes. They'll be equally as enjoyable. But without further ado, and disclaimers and all said and done, please enjoy this latest episode of Finnterviews with Flat Earth Dave, also known as Dave Weiss. Well, welcome back to another episode of Finnterviews. On the show this week, I am delighted to welcome on David Weiss. How's it going, David?
It's going well. How are you doing?
Not too bad. You can see me hesitating to overpronounce your second name there again, didn't you?
That's right. Everybody asks, how's the tyranny in Ireland?
Oh, yeah, it's going grand. Like, do you know what I mean? It's a Wednesday. We're winning. We're almost at the weekend. Can't be complaining too much. Like, how about yourself? Whereabouts are you based in America at the moment?
I'm right outside of New York City in Connecticut.
Lovely, lovely. And you were saying clear skies, you're winning, huh?
We have a week of no clouds, it says, and we haven't had that in years. So
yeah,
we're looking for some nice spring weather.
Oh, sure. So, welcome now. But first and foremost, Dave, for people that maybe aren't aware of you or don't know much about yourself, maybe give us a little introduction. Tell us about yourself, where you're from, kind of your background, what you're known for. Let the listeners know kind of why maybe I invited you onto the podcast.
Yeah, so I have a normal story. Just an American guy, grew up, worked in corporate America, left corporate America, started my own business. Life is good. Things are going amazing. I was doing a podcast on the side for fun, with some buddies, looking into crazy stuff. And then people started sending me flat earth stuff. Hey, Dave, have you looked into the flat earth? And when I saw that, I'm like, that's a joke, right? Delete. Ban them from our social media because they kept bothering me with it.
Oh, Jesus.
And then finally, I was forced to look, and I went in with the attitude, I'm going to just disprove this. This is nonsense. We all know the earth is a spinning ball flying through an infinite vacuum, just like we were told in school. And then I looked, and that's how you become a flat earther, when you actually look. But they've brainwashed us into believing that there's no need to look. It's ridiculous. And there's two things that ballers, you're a baller, I'm taking it. You believe the earth is a globe, right?
Yeah.
I won't listen, you can admit it. I won't make fun of you.
Oh, no. I'm laughing more at the terminology. A baller. Like, if somebody said, oh, this one's a baller over in Ireland, you'd have a... You wouldn't really just say that.
It's the same thing here. But I don't want to call you a ball tard because that's derogatory. All right.
So, you were going to. I'm just enjoying the ride. Like,
yeah. So So the two things that they have in common. One is they have a false idea of what flat Earth is because they've been brainwashed into believing that the flat Earth is a pancake floating in space with a bunch of other ball planets.
Right.
That's not what any of us believe. We don't believe that there's pancake planets all over the place. We don't believe
Yeah.
any of that. And the other thing that they have in common is they don't even understand what the heliocentric, the globe model is. They don't understand that they have to believe that they're spinning at 1,000 miles an hour. They're corkscrewing through space in 4 different directions at once, traveling billions and trillions of miles,
Mm-hmm.
and everything remains the same every year.
Yeah.
It's a little
So
crazy, right?
wait, is this you're saying that this is the flat earthers that were like getting in touch with you? Was this like kind of what they weren't like taking into consideration, or they were believing
Well,
about this kind of pancake, simulation thing that you
well,
that
when
you
when
that
I
you're
heard
saying
about
isn't the crack?
yeah, when I heard about flat Earth, I'm like, there's no way the Earth is flat because gravity would pull us to the middle and
Yeah,
all
yeah,
this stuff.
right.
That's all mind control. We all saw the same videos. If the Earth was flat, as you walk to the edge, you'd have to start leaning forward, and then when you get to the edge, you'd actually be able to stand on it sideways because gravity.
Mm,
We don't believe in gravity. Gravity is a whole nother story,
okay.
and it's fully explainable. And we have videos that will blow your minds. But
Yeah, I was trying to do a bit of research into it as well, just to kind of see, and it's quite a plethora of kind of content and stuff like this. Like, but I suppose like when did you kind of first like? I know you were kind of saying when you like started this podcast with you obviously got introduced to this the whole flat Earth kind of theory and like something but when did you kind of first get into creating this content and becoming well you kind of yeah, you're using your voice. This is what you're kind of known for, is to chat about flat Earth and promote this.
yeah,
But like, when did this kind of like start off? Like, because obviously it's something that you're saying, you've obviously done the research behind, and this is what's got you into and kind of promoting it. But like, you didn't always believe it.
how did I get
how did it
here?
all
How
start?
did I
Yeah,
get
yeah, that's
here?
what I'm
Yeah.
wondering, because obviously, as you said, it's kind of things that we learn in school. And then when that's quite a strong, thought kind of process to start then dismantling all these kind of things that you're taught and all these kind of conversations, and to really kind of ostracize yourself out from, a wider kind of, knowledge or society that like this is what everybody else is being taught and learned. Like that's quite a thing to
It's a huge
come
jump.
out. Yeah,
Nobody
yeah. And
wakes
to
up
be
in the
like, this
morning
is,
and says, "Hey, I want to be a flat earther." Right? Nobody
yeah.
does that because our entire foundation of our belief is this heliocentric thing, and that's by design. It's meant to keep our minds in a prison, right? And the prison is the globe, right? But the
Okay.
Earth is more expansive. There's more to it. We're at the center of creation. We're not on the outskirts of a random explosion, right?
Okay.
So that's part of the reason why the lie. So I was doing the podcast and then literally the flat Earth blew up our podcast. So some of the hosts and the producers couldn't handle it, and so we ended the podcast after 3 years. And I started the Flat Earth podcast. I'm like, all right, you know what? Flat Earth is so amazing. Let's just do a podcast on flat Earth. There's no podcast on flat Earth. We were the
Yeah.
first, so we started doing a podcast on flat Earth, and it was very interesting. And then I created an app called the Flat Earth Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app. And I used it. I created it for myself, used it to show people when I'm talking to people, and they go, "Oh, that's amazing. Where do I get that app?" So I listed the app. I actually it started costing me a lot of money. So it was free at first. Then I made it for $3. And then one day I kind of got a message. Like I got a message from somewhere else that said, "Walk away from your own company. Walk away. Walk away."
Oh,
I was making
jeepers.
healthy 6-figure salary. I still have a great life. I have a better life actually. And it said, "Walk away from it all." And I'm like, how am I going to pay my bills?
Yeah.
And I went to pay my bills that day, and the money that came in from the app was just enough to cover my bills. I'm like, that's a sign, right? I asked for a couple other signs, which I'm not going to get into, and they kind of showed up. And I literally, I never imagined myself being able to have my own company. Right.
Yeah.
But I did. I imagined myself having my own company, and I had my own company. I literally created a very successful company with 2 partners, and I walked away from the entire thing, which is insane. which is
Yeah,
crazy.
Jesus.
But the reason I'm walking away is, would you say the world is in a state of bliss right now or a state of tyranny?
Oh, I mean, yeah, a bit of turmoil now. It's
Bit of turmoil. Come on.
yeah,
This is
yeah.
the entire world is in tyranny right now.
The last year hasn't been the best years now.
The whole world is in insanity. We're losing all of our freedoms worldwide. This is insane what's going on. And the question is, will we ever get our freedom back? Will people wake up enough? Will we get our freedom back? And if we get our freedom back, how long can we hold it if our minds are lost in space, spinning out of control, and we don't even know where we live? So that's why I'm doing this.
Okay. So, gosh, geez, that's just a lot to unpack there. I mean, like, from going, as you said, like starting off this like podcast as well, to be like, frigate, you know what, nobody's making this, and then to walk away from business as well, like that. I like, obviously, and you were saying, you know, there was like some kind of calling, really kind of was telling you like something else out there was kind of said this is the right thing to walk away from. And, you know, since this is, you know, you're living a happy life and this kind of got around you. But I suppose, like, what was the kind of, I suppose, when creating this, like, because it was under one of my last podcasts, I got this comment from you guys, and like I was kind of wondering, like, what was the kind of purpose like behind your page and podcast? Obviously, you started out of, you know, almost sounds like curiosity, but like, has there been any kind of like inspirations behind your work, or is there kind of reason that you are now promoting it in such a way, and you feel that people, is it almost kind of feel that like people need to know what's happening, or what is the kind of, you know,
it's my mission, because someone's got to do it. But it's my mission
somebody's got to do it. Come on.
To offer anybody that wants to wake up the information. The information is being censored on, you know, on Google. Google is censoring everything. YouTube is censoring everything. It's if you Google, hey, flat Earth, top 10 reasons why the Earth is flat, you're going to get top 10 reasons why the Earth is a globe. Okay. If you type in A Stranger's Guide to Flat Earth, 21 questions by channel ODD Reality, you type in the name and the channel name, it won't even come up. You'll get propaganda videos. It'll come up 10 pages down. Okay. Because they're trying to gatekeep your minds, because if everyone wakes up to flat Earth, everyone disconnects from feeding the fear matrix. The globe has us as a random speck flying through an infinite vacuum, where we are random accidents of mutations of evolution. An asteroid could take us out at any moment. A solar flare could take us out. Nuclear bombs could take us out. Terrorists could take us out. We're running out of friggin' dinosaur juice for our cars. You know, the global warming, everything I mentioned is complete and total bullshit. All of it is just to keep our minds in fear. Okay. And they program the kids from before kindergarten with television, and it's all globe programming. They teach kids about what? Dinosaurs and the asteroid that killed all the dinosaurs. Therefore, what's the kid learning? An asteroid could kill all of us. So the kid bases his entire life on fear. An asteroid can take us out. And then they teach the kids about space, the orbits of the moon, and how the moon goes around the earth and the sun. That's like the first worksheet kids get in school to take home about the solar system, the solar system, right? So again, this is a huge conspiracy. It's not a theory. It's a huge conspiracy.
And I suppose, like, whenever you kind of, you know, like, as you said, it's one of these things that, like, it almost seems to be whenever you realized, you know, about the flat earth conspiracy and stuff like that, like, everything else began to kind of shed away. And you, as you said, you kind of start to realize the larger implications in this. Like, what is, I suppose, you're mainly known for, you know, flat earth or whatever like this, but you're kind of mentioning there like other conspiracy theories as well. Do you think, like, what kind of has it,
you
like,
know, the
opened
thing that
up
happened
to
in New York City? I don't want to say it out loud because we don't want to get the algorithm to get your channel where you get this video removed, but the thing that happened on September in New York City.
Okay, yeah, right. And it happened. Oh, yeah. So, well, I'm not too worried about it. I don't think it's going to get removed it's going to censor.
We'll just beat around the bush on what we say. Anybody that thinks the official story is real has lost their minds. Period.
Okay. Okay.
And it's not even a theory. I mean, all the information's out there. Just people are too lazy to go look at it. How, 2 planes destroyed 7 buildings in New York City.
Okay.
Does that make any sense to you?
I mean, yeah, well, like there was. It's
listen,
a live video feed. Do you know what I mean? I'm not going to try and debate it.
I'm
going
to give you and your listeners in Ireland a place, a website. If you ever want to learn about the thing that happened in New York and other things, it's called stoplookthink.com.
Okay.
Stoplookthink.com. Just click the 9/11, start watching those videos there, bring some food and water because you're going to be there for a while, and then you'll learn.
Okay. But what I'm kind of interested in is that obviously you're mentioning like this, one theory that like didn't like you kind of came around to this because people are getting in contact with you saying flat earth, whatever like this. Were these other kind of conspiracy theories and part of it, say like 9/11? I mean, I was kind of going through your the podcast Instagram page as well, and it was kind of saying like things about like coronavirus and cloud formations, kind of like about like dinosaur bones in museums. Were these already a thing that you were kind of aware of, or this was your kind of belief before you kind of got into this whole area, or was it something that kind of came gradually once you kind of said, you broke down this kind of system of fear almost, like, and whatnot, things that you'd already been taught in schools? Were these already things that you kind of believed or your friends believed or anything like this? Or was this kind of like your own kind of solo path that like you start to kind of realize further down the line, like how one thing led on to another? And does that make sense?
Yeah, well, before, I laughed at flat earth. I was looking into all of the big hoax shootings and false flags. And when you look into them, they're not theories, they're absolute proofs. It's so simple and clear to see that, and the conspiracy is so big that most people can't even see it. So when flat earth came around, I didn't want to look at it. I had an open mind, but I didn't want to look at it. And I went in with a closed mind just to disprove it. And then once you look, you can't ever unsee what you see. It's literally, a Morpheus. Do you want the red pill or the blue pill? I took the red pill. And once you take it, there's no getting out. There's no getting out. And that movie actually is an awesome analogy of why flat earth matters. Because right now, people are trapped in the matrix. They think they live on a spinning ball flying through the world where controllers have control over them, where they have to work for a third of the year and give their money away to the controllers. And they have to obey the laws, the whimsical laws of the controllers. And they have to do all of this stuff, right? When in fact, once you break out of the matrix and you unplug from it spiritually, you realize that nobody has dominion over you, that nobody can make any laws that take away any of your free will. The only thing you can't do is kill somebody, interfere with their free will, and you steal from them. That's breaking their free will, I guess. And don't, try to help your neighbor. Those are the only real laws. That's it.
You were kind of touching upon there just kind of about like spiritually as well. Is this like, I suppose, have you found from, chatting with other people that these kind of conspiracy theories are linked almost with like a spirituality in a sense, or any kind of, I don't want to even say religion, because spirituality and religion kind of like, they kind of go hand in hand, but like not really to that kind of way. And then you're kind of just saying there like about obviously these kind of overruling powers. Like, do you think there is something about, like, I mean, have you found this like in the communities that you found from setting up this podcast and, meeting other people? I know you're on, like, it wasn't the Flat Earth International Conference, yeah?
Yeah, there's one.
Yeah, have you kind of found from, discussing with these other people any kind of similarities between yourselves that like all of these other people have maybe like clicked into?
Here's one thing, there's a lot of Christians and religious people in the Flat Earth community, but there's a lot of religious and Christians and other religions everywhere there. So it's not a religious thing, because I'm not religious.
Oh, no. I was just curious because you mentioned about kind of spirituality.
Yeah. So I'll mention one thing that we all have in common is that we realize that there is a creator because the world is an intelligently designed system. It's not a random accident from a big bang. So there is a creator. Now, everyone takes their own journey from there. Who is the creator? Why is the creation? What is your relationship to the creation? That's it. I don't interfere with anyone. Anybody can believe whatever they want. And there's people that have different beliefs and they're all right. They're all right for them.
Yeah.
That's fine. As long as they don't break those 4 laws, don't kill anybody, don't steal from anybody, don't interfere with their free will, and help your neighbor.
Kind of just
it.
like a bit of morality
That's
in
it.
your kind of actions.
It's a very simple world we live in. And people are lost and they're living in fear. When you live in fear of all those things I mentioned before, from asteroids to nuclear bombs, you become more nihilistic. You become a little more selfish. You become, like if you were out in a big crowd today and you dropped you had a wad of $100 bills and your license was taped in the middle of it, do you think you would get it back?
Oh God, probably not. No.
Yeah. So we have a Flat Earth conference coming up, actually March 27th in South Carolina, and there'll be hundreds and hundreds of people there. I'm confident if I lost a wad of money with my wallet in it, with my ID in it, somebody would give it back to me.
Yeah. Just that's the kind of community that's obviously, that.
And people come from all walks of life, all socioeconomical levels, all races, religions, everything. It's just, and everyone there together. I mean, you don't know the person standing behind you. You turn around, you talk to them like they're your best friend, because you guys can now see on a level that the zombies out there, the diaper face wearing, zombies out there have no idea what's going on. At least you know what? We are surrounded by zombies, but one good thing about this coronavirus thing is they made it easy to identify them. They're all wearing face masks.
Okay. And I suppose, like, as well, like, obviously this is quite, a strong kind of like thing to kind of place yourself in with, especially like a group of people, as I said, that often, are being ostracized between, different media outlets and, scientific. Like, I imagine that you get quite a lot of, people coming back to debating the points that you guys are making from these conferences and the rest of it. But what I'm kind of wondering, like, on a personal level, like, was it whenever you said, you didn't believe in flat Earth or any of these other things, like, what happened when you kind of went down this route? Like, what your family and friends kind of think? Like, has it kind of disrupted that kind of, like, those relationships at all, or has it kind of been one of those things that you've maybe found a new community with? I'm not sure.
So yeah, there are people. I have friends, lifelong friends they're just closed minded. They can't see it. My brother and my sister, I don't know if they know I'm a flat earther. They have to by now because I'm everywhere. But that's their journey. They're not interested in knowing that, any of the deceptions in the world, and that's fine. And so, I don't talk to them much at all anymore. And it's unfortunate, but I don't want to argue with them. So I just, I don't make an effort anymore. It's really sad, but and I've lost some friends who just can't see the truth. They want to believe in the government, which is mind control, and they want to, live their lives, and they're welcome to. And in turn, I've made an entire new group of friends and family. I'm having we have these meetups. So like people like, hey, we're going to get together, some flat earthers. And I put out a video last week. We're going to do it at a friend who has a diner upstate from me. And the diner closes at 1:30, and we're going to have it after the diner closes. And I figured I put the video out, we'd have 10, 20 people. There's 100 people coming. They're driving from hours. I'm afraid there's going to be 200 people. So people want to be around other like-minded people. So it's a fascinating thing. It's growing so fast. It's unbelievable. And that's my mission is to wake people up. I'm going on shows like yours. I go on show, SGT Report, Owen Benjamin, Veritas Radio. And the first time I was on the shows, the listeners freaked out. Hey, I'm unsubscribing. And now they're all flat earthers. They're really? 99%. Yeah, they're like, I see it. It's literally.
And have they kind of like got in touch with you afterwards, being like, I listened to the show?
If I told you that your mother was a reptile, would you believe me? Of course not, right? right? But
Well,
what
it
if
depends what mood I'm in. I don't know.
what if I brought your mother into a room with you and I ripped off her face and showed you she was a reptile? Would you believe me?
I mean,
I'm
that
right in
kind of
front of you. You can touch her if she doesn't bite you. This is a horrible
no,
example. But
no,
what I'm showing
yeah,
is
but
what
you
I'm saying
know
is
that's why I can't really answer because I feel like that's obviously not real.
it's
So
not
then I'm
real.
kind of
It's not
like, that's
real. And I
yeah,
don't
yeah. So
believe that people are
that's a
reptiles.
really
Don't
hard
get me
kind
wrong.
of
I was kind of
that's
making
a
a
really
joke, but
hard thing to publish.
my point is some people you can show them. You're like,
Yes.
hey, this is an apple. Look, and I
Okay.
bite into the apple. They're like, that's not an apple. There's just
Yeah,
people that
yeah,
can't
yeah.
see.
Yeah, I
There's people
get
that
you.
can't see. But once you see, the flat Earth. Here, let me ask you a question. We before the show, you said that you're a baller, or at the beginning of the show,
I'm a baller.
you're all right. I'm gonna call you. You don't. You're laughing at baller, so I'm gonna now call you a
It-
baltard. What's your number one reason that keeps you a baltard? What's your number one reason that makes you think that you live on a spinning ball flying through space?
I suppose it's. I
One,
mean,
give
it's
me
the
just
same
one
as
thing. Just give me
just one
one, and
reason.
then we're gonna discuss it.
Education. I
No,
suppose.
education is not a thing. Educate. Listen, I'm educating you right now. Okay, what's one proof that you live on a ball? What's one thing that supports the belief? Belief is the enemy of knowing. You can
Yeah,
believe anything. Knowing takes effort. What's your
yeah,
one belief that makes you think you live on a ball? Other than that's what I was told. That's what everybody thinks. Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
you have
No,
one.
no.
Do you have
Yeah.
one?
I suppose it's the fact that like I mean day and night, the
Day
year.
and night.
Yeah,
That's a good
yeah.
one. That's a good one.
Yeah, I know. But I mean, also, like, I don't really want to go down this whole route of kind of trying to disbelieve one kind of thought and kind of believe another, because I feel like that isn't really conclusive. Like, as you said, if somebody says, this is an apple, and then you don't believe in it's an apple, it's kind of similar patterns, arise where it's somebody trying to convince another one. It's kind of like when you go on Twitter, do you know what I mean? And somebody kind of jumps on you, go like, "Oh, this isn't true," and X, Y, Z. I don't feel like that's really like congrusive, like talk, or do you know what I mean? It doesn't really lead to anything other than somebody is looking to be right and another person looking to be wrong. But like, I'm interested more in the fact like how these kind of like, because as I said, like you felt this like family friends of kind of they maybe don't align themselves along with your same thought process, but you've found communities that also maybe have like that are have found each other from believing these conspiracy theories. And that's why I'm kind of interested in that kind of scope of it. Like, is there where does this kind of come from? Because for me, I wouldn't really know anybody that's really into flat earth. We would kind of believe 9/11 coronavirus. I mean, I definitely dinosaur bones. I'm just curious. All these things, I mean, similar to yourself, whenever you first, got into flat earth, it seemed really strange. So I'm just interested how it kind of seems to go from this one point and then it seems to expand outwards. And then similarly, communities find each other from this.
Was there a question in there?
No, there wasn't really. It was more, this is what I'm curious about. I mean, that's why I was trying to say I'm not like to be disproved really in this kind of thought process of night and day or like the way that's fear. But I mean, you can, but that's not really, I don't think it's really conclusive to like
Right.
conversation.
That's fine. I'm enjoying the conversation. For anybody
Yeah.
that wants to know about how night and day work,
Yeah, fire.
if you
Go
try
ahead.
to Google it, you're going to get the heliocentric nonsense model. But the best way, the easiest way to find the information is on my app, and it's called the
Yeah.
Flat Earth, Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app. If you hit the frequently asked question button, it'll come up with 21 questions, and one of them is, where does the sun go? And it'll show you. Now, talking about it is I can describe some of the things, but it's good to have the visuals, and it shows you experiments and observations you can do yourself, and then you'll understand that the sun just goes away and takes its light with it. The sun, when it moves away, it looks like it's setting, but it's just going beyond this cloud, and this cloud merges with the horizon at just 30 miles away, and it goes beyond it, and it looks like it's setting, and it takes its light with it. It's
Okay.
pretty interesting when you do it. And then, we've sent balloons up to 120,000 feet, and it's daylight over here, and it's nighttime over here.
Mm-hmm.
So that's it.
That's it.
That's how there's day and night.
Okay. I was just wondering. There's like, that's it. Yep. There we are.
Let me show you real quick.
Solved.
Let me show you real quick. I want to share the app just for a second, just so you get an idea
Jesus.
of how it works. The sky is a perfect clock, right? So if you go out tonight and look at where the stars are at whatever time, the stars will be in the exact same position next year at the same night on the same time, right? If we're corkscrewing through the universe, traveling millions and tens of millions, billions of miles, how is that possible? So the sun goes around once every 24 hours. It laps the moon once every 28 days. All right.
Okay.
So the sun keeps track of the hours and the days. The moon and its position and its phase keep track of the weeks and the months. There used to be 13 months, but then they changed it to 12 months. Okay. So that keeps track of that. If I turn on the stars, the zodiac, you know about the zodiacal signs. The zodiac is spinning slightly faster than the sun. Right now, the sun is in Pisces, and the zodiac that's following Pisces will catch up to the sun next month. And then the bull, Taurus, will catch up the following month. So the sun will remain in one of those signs for about a month. And then the sun migrates in and out. I'm moving it into June. And June 21st is the height of our summer. And the sun is closer to the inner north. And then 6 months later, the sun is all the way out over the Tropic of Capricorn, and the outer south, Australia and Southern Africa and South America are having their summer, while we're having our winter, just because the sun is farther away from us, lower in the sky. That's how seasons work. But every day there's a new video right here. You watch this video every day and you'll be a flat earther within 2 weeks and lose the respect of your friends and family. The other thing is,
you don't make it sound very appealing to you.
Well, you know what? It's some people don't really like their families, so it's kind of, it's like, all right, screw them.
If you're not a fan, you're a fan of your family. Right. Yeah, come to download the app, start watching the videos, and you're being sorted.
And then you won't have to talk to your family anymore, right?
I mean,
this is how a compass. This is how a compass works.
Not sound rude, Dave, but just I mean that kind of thought process always kind of lends itself similarly with, I mean, a lot of kind of like other, as you said, other kind of like kind of conspiracy theories or almost. And I'm not kind of trying to say this is what you're involved with, but it kind of sounds almost aligned with this kind of idea of like, cult worshipping, where it's kind of like people that maybe, have lost, say, family kind of relationships, and then they're brought together by a new belief or a new kind of thing that, maybe preys almost on a lot of vulnerable people. I'm wondering as well, like, I don't know if, like, I'm not saying that this is, something that has happened or anything like this with yourself or anything, but just in the kind of process that you said, you might lose some family and friends by taking on, this new belief system and this new kind of conspiracy theory.
Again, it's not a belief. It's not a belief system. It's knowing you're very religious. You didn't know this. You believe in the heliocentric cult because there is zero proof of the heliocentric world, but you believe it. And that's the definition of a religion. You believe science is real, but you believe in scientism. Right? Because there's no evidence that the sun is 93 million miles away. There's no evidence that Venus is the size of Earth. There's no evidence that any of the planets are solid. There's no evidence that the moon is even there other than a light. There's no evidence of the circumference of a ball. There's no curvature. The Earth, the high pressure of the Earth next to an infinite vacuum breaks the second law of thermodynamics. There's no evidence of anything that supports the ball. So that's a religion. I was in that religion. You're in a cult.
Okay. But I'm just wondering, like, I suppose you're saying, obviously, like, these are things that, like, I'm in a cult and it's, the things that I've been taught, and without kind of evidence and stuff like this. Like, what do you kind of make when there is people that would come back to you guys and kind of say, like, you're saying about science, but like, what about scientists that maybe come back to you guys and
They
say
don't.
this isn't true, this isn't
They,
right,
they don't. They,
or
they don't come back with any evidence whatsoever. They'll make straw man and gaslighting videos about us, but they won't talk to us because they can't. Because in real
okay.
time, we can destroy them. Like, so if the Earth is a ball, there should be some curvature. Well, we can make observations that prove there is no curvature. Our warships can pinpoint another ship with a pencil thin laser beam over 100 miles away. They can see it,
Mm,
they can light it up and shoot a missile at it. Okay. Well,
mm.
100 miles, there should be a 6,600-foot wall of water in between them, but there's not. Submarines can see other submarines well over 100 miles away with their sonar. There should be a mountain of dirt between them that the sonar should bounce off of, but there isn't. There is no curvature. So, like, the question to you is, how many stretches of flat water does it take to make a sphere?
I mean, I don't know. That's like asking how deep is a hole. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of like
Well,
it's a bit of an open-ended question.
the answer is you don't make a sphere out of flat stretches of water. It makes a flat plane. The Earth
Okay.
is like a big pond, okay? The Earth is literally like a big lake. All of the continents are surrounded by water, but all of the water is surrounded by land that's higher than the water. Antarctica is that land, and Antarctica is the highest land on Earth. It's
Okay.
the shoreline of our world up pond. What's out here? Don't know. It's off limits to everybody until the year 2041.
What's in the year 2041 that makes it not off limits?
Well, that's when they made the treaty. They had to put a year on it. It was made in 1959, so it's like 60 years, and they'll kick it down the road another 60 years before we get there. So no one will be able to go out there.
Sorry, I'm genuinely curious. Like, what's the treaty? Because maybe I'm just unfamiliar with it. Or with is it a government treaty or is
All of the
what you mean?
nations in the world, all of the nations in the world got together all of a sudden in 1959 and put together the Antarctic Treaty because they said we have to protect Antarctica. We must protect the penguins and the ice because that's all they
Yeah.
tell us is down there, right? But meanwhile, go ahead and deforest the Amazon. That's fine. And everyone signed onto it with a stipulation in it that no one ever can, no one can even question the treaty until the year 2041.
Hmm.
Even though they say that there's land out there bigger than the United States that is
Hmm.
untapped, never stepped on by a human, that's
Hmm.
filled with resources. The question is, what is beyond the shoreline of Antarctica? Are there other lands beyond
Hmm.
Antarctica, other oceans, other
Hmm.
worlds in
Hmm.
outer space beyond
Hmm.
Antarctica? Why are all of the biggest telescopes in the world, first owned by the Vatican, but why are they all like in the southern parts of our world and not looking up? They're looking across, they're looking
Hmm.
out to the outer space.
Hmm.
So maybe outer space is where the extra territory is, and that's where the extraterrestrials come from the extra terra.
Okay. I mean, this is quite a lot to try and I'm trying to think of like a segue almost into like a oh okay grand, but I mean you can understand this is quite like a big thing to almost try to
It's a
I
lot.
suppose
Here's the thing.
wrap your head around.
They've
Yeah,
got us to a
yeah.
point where there's doors all around us, and they've
When
made it
when
so
you
we can't
say
even see
when
the
you say
doors.
when you say them, is it like all kind of world governments, power elites?
Yeah.
Is this who they are?
So the division of countries, except for some rogue leaders, they're all together. Russia, the UK, US, Australia, they're all one. It's all just to divide us because we together are way powerful. And they've divided us by countries, by states, by political parties, by races, by
Hmm.
gender. They're dividing. They're taking away our humanity. They're taking away our
Hmm.
power. Okay. And we're
Okay.
agreeing to it. We agree to it. There's no border between two countries that are side by side. There's just
Hmm.
an imaginary border that some
Hmm.
idiots have said, this is the border. You can't go through here. It's all about
Hmm.
controlling every movement we make. They want to control everything about us. They want to connect us to the internet. And that's what's going on right now. So who are they? The royal families, Bilderberg Group, the Council of Foreign Relations, whatever you want to call them, the United Nations. These are the ruling families that are ruling over us, and their rule is just in our heads. Whose fault is it that your country's locked down? It's your fault, because you haven't just said, fuck you, I'm not closing my business, I'm going out, I'm not wearing a face mask. If everyone did that, 10% of the people did it, it'd be over. So again,
well,
they've
I'd say
brainwashed
it might be over because a lot of people are dead. that could be.
You haven't looked into this. Yeah, you haven't.
Okay.
That's a whole nother story. But if you look into the statistics, less people died in 2020 than the previous years before it, right? Overall, they're just, nobody dies of flu anymore. It's all influenza. It's nonsense. I mean, it's all corona. Corona hasn't even been identified. And one doctor took 1,500 positive case samples and retested them, and there wasn't corona, what they call corona, in any of them. They just found influenza A and influenza B in those samples. So they just relabeled it.
Okay. And I suppose from obviously, like, from starting off this podcast, from the work that you've been doing, I mean, you're obviously very well, sorry, I'm trying to think of like very well, like you're kind of showing me, it's funny because people that maybe listen to the podcast, you're showing kind of slideshows and you're kind of, it's almost like a weatherman kind of showing, what way things work. Oh yeah, exactly. You're obviously very well knowledge in this and very articulate in the way that you're able to describe these things. And, you've really put yourself into this world and surround yourself with other people as well to gain more knowledge and to gain, further understanding of the flat earth. I'm wondering, like, have there been any kind of like standout moments that have came from, the flat earth conspiracy theory that you maybe like never thought could have happened? Maybe was it like finding these kind of communities, or have there been any kind of standout moments, I suppose?
What kind of moments?
Like standout moments, I suppose, that have like
stand out.
Yeah. Things that you're like, oh, this is, I didn't expect this to happen from starting off with this.
Well, I never imagined myself walking away from my dream, which was having my own company. I walked away from it. I never imagined myself being able to do what I love to make money, right? I'm not doing this to make money. I'm doing this because I love it and I'm able to make money. Okay. We all need to report. Most people go to jobs that they hate. Well, that's a horrible life, right? And then they save up for their retirement when they're too old and tired to do anything because they're sick from all the pharmaceutical drugs and everything else they've submitted themselves to. And they literally give their entire lives away. I'm living my life. I'm loving my life. And the world around me is crumbling, but that's everyone else's own journey. It's not my world. It's not crumbling. So, it is what it is. And the standout moment is every day is a standout moment. Every single day is a standout moment.
Every day.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you seem like really positive and really kind of happy with this. Obviously, this has given you like a lot of joy as well. But I mean, maybe on the opposite spectrum, have there been any kind of like maybe horror stories or any kind of things that maybe have came from this that haven't been like maybe as great from promoting, the flat earth conspiracy theory and the rest of these kind of things? Like, as I said, with family, personal relationships, have there been any, big things that came from that? I mean, maybe even online, I'm sure there's people that maybe give you a bit of grief and stuff. Have you found any of that, or any, big things that you've just
there's people that there's trolls that will follow me. Like if you put this up on YouTube, you're putting this on YouTube, right?
Yeah, it'll probably be down the line on YouTube. I'm still trying to get kind of visual sorted for it.
All right. So as soon as it goes up on YouTube, you're going to get trolls that are going to comment on every comment saying flat earth is stupid. There's no proof of the flat earth. Everyone knows but what you'll notice is they offer no proof for the globe. They'll just say all this stuff. Then if you go to their channel, there's nothing on their channel. They're empty channels with 0 subs. So if you were like out there, like, I got to set these flat earthers straight, don't you think you'd put some globe proofs on your channel? You would, but there are none. I call those empty channels the comprehensive globe proof channels, right? Because they have all the globe proofs on them. Nothing.
Baltards, huh?
They're baltards, right?
Baltards, yeah.
They're baltards. So again, I could there's people that literally, flat earthers that can't handle the heat when those trolls come. I just ignore them. They're welcome to say anything they want. Okay. I don't care. The more they talk about it, the more people are like, wait a minute, what is this flat earth thing? Let me look into this. Okay. So I ignore them. and there's ups and downs and everything, but without ups and downs, life is pretty level, just like the earth.
Yeah. Yeah. That's smooth on you. Just laid it in there. Yeah, but I suppose so. Like, obviously, one of the things that came from this, you've really found like happiness and kind of joy in this, almost like an enlightenment in it. But at the other end of the spectrum, you're always going to face, as these things create momentum and stuff.
Yeah. So did this bring me enlightenment? No, I found happiness, and happiness brought me this. People don't realize that you have to put the feeling in front of it first. And then when you feel it, you attract that into your life. People that feel like, I'm broke, I'm never going to make any money, I got to go to work. Well, that's your life. That's what you're going to create. That's what you're going to have.
Yeah.
And you're going to live paycheck to paycheck for your entire life. That's it. Okay.
Yeah.
So if you put your happiness is your choice. Your servitude is your choice. Your compliance with nonsense is all your choice. Everything in your life is your fault.
Okay. And that's kind of, if you're subscribing to that kind of like, I'm doing something that doesn't make me happy. Like, do you think that
if you keep doing it, maybe it'll make you happy one day, huh? That's
well, no. Yeah, doing the same thing over and over, you getting not getting a different result or something like that. Yeah, is that what I was saying, Sandy? Was or something?
Well, it's insanity is doing the same thing again and again,
expecting the different results. Yeah, I suppose like from that, I guess as well, like from results, and where you kind of look to go with this and this kind of community that is building from this. Like, what does the future hold for yourself, Dave? Like, are there any big goals, like, and maybe the same as yourselves and these communities like other flat earthers that you want to achieve that you maybe haven't yet? Like, what is the kind of, as you said, this is the thing that you're really passionate about, like
national television. My goal is to have every person that has an ability to look at any screen be able to see this information and make up their minds for themselves. I'm not telling you to believe that the earth is flat. I'm saying there's a door over here that you never look behind, that you've never even thought about, because you are mind controlled from the indoctrination camp that your parents sent you to as a kid. That's called school.
So you're just trying to offer people another kind of resource, another kind of way of this perspective that maybe they've been closed off to, that could bring them equally, all things that you've found really, empowering from finding out.
Wouldn't you feel a little better if you knew who you were, where you were, what you were? I mean, the movie The Matrix with Neo at the beginning, he's lost, his mind is trapped in the Matrix. His soul knows where he is, but he's not connected to his soul. And by the end of the movie, he figures out who he is, where he is, what he is, and the power of his mind. And he's a happier, better, more fulfilled person. That's a perfect analogy of the way this world is right now. Right now, we are all in prison. It's a prison in our own minds, okay? Because nobody can take away our free will, but we can willingly give it away, and that's what they get us to do all the time, through fear.
I suppose my mind kind of went to on the other end of the spectrum there, where it's kind of like almost ignorance is bliss. Like, do you think that believe going opening up this other door that's like flat Earth, moon landing, 9/11, coronavirus, all these things are ways of suppressing you and your thought process? I would almost feel like that would kind of put you on like down a path that personally I think would make me I was going to say that put you down a path that wouldn't really resort to happiness, because then it's almost like you're on an uphill battle against everything else. And it seems, I mean, that's just what I'm saying. Like, I mean, obviously, you find it, brilliant for yourself and other communities, but that kind of ostracizes you in such a way that, I mean, do you not think that maybe bring yourself to this whole community, might actually be really damaging?
I don't care what other people think. I really don't. Yeah. People like me. I guess for some reason, I guess I'm nice, but
I think you're lovely, Dave.
It's ignorance is lazy. It's so ignorant. You know what? I could go, my job's not so bad. I make some money. I get to get drunk on the weekend, watch some sports, and I got a girlfriend, and if that's your life, that's your life. There's way more. There's way more. You're denying your own creation. If you want to ignore it. Now, there are people that are thriving, doing well, that are, religious, not religious, whatever, that are making money and doing all sorts of stuff, and they believe they live on a ball. They're still missing out. They're still missing out on who they really are, and they're just living a materialistic life. And there's nothing wrong. I mean, there's lots wrong with it, but some material things are good. I like some material things. I have a fun life. I have some fun toys, and I enjoy myself. So, is what it is.
Well, thank you very much, Dave, for coming on to an episode of Finnterviews. I think this was, nothing like any other interview that I've had yet. So, no, I really appreciate you taking the time. And here's us chatting across the world. Do you know what I mean? Thanks so much for coming on.
All right, Connor, thanks. See you.
All right, no worries. Here, have a wonderful day. All right, bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of Finnterviews. I hope you guys enjoyed listening to the podcast as much as I did recording it. If you'd like to support the podcast, please do remember to give us a like, share, subscribe, and a 5-star rating on whatever listening platform you're on. And you can also follow me on socials. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and now TikTok. Basically, type in Finnterviews online and you'll find me somewhere, and everything else is kind of linked through that. And you can give me suggestions who you would like to hear on the show next. Again, thank you so much for listening, and I'll chat to you later. Bye.